So this is the Elmer Deal farm out on Leminster Road. And this property dates back, I know, in 1967. This place was 100 years old. It was in the same family for 100 years, back in 1967. And oh, hi there, people. How are you? So, Susan, do you want to tell me how old this place is and your family bit?
Yeah, the best that I remember Dad passing on to me that house was built somewhere between 1865 and 1867. And my great-grandfather built it, Elmer Deal, and he came. Dad always said he originated somewhere around Blockhouse Hill, so just outside of Lunenburg.
Yeah.
There's where Blockhouse is.
Yeah.
That's where his home place was.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. And why he came this direction, I'm not really sure. But anyway, he came upon some acreage. He bought it, and I'm pretty sure the deed said he bought it for $600 at the time, and it was probably 600 plus acres, or whatever. And he built his home. They had, I believe it was 10 children that they had. And then his one of his sons took over the farm. Went to his son, who is my dad, Elmer Deal, and then I'm the youngest one here. So I'm the fourth generation back on the property.
Right on,
yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
Right on. So did you know about Ruth Daniels' book of the Century Farms?
You know, when you mentioned it to me and when you called, I don't think I've ever seen the book, but I do remember something of. I still have that sign here, by the way, the Century Farm sign.
Okay.
I still have it, and I remember Ruth Daniels' name being connected with it.
Yeah.
I remember that Ruth used to come out and visit Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
So a lot more than that, I'm not sure, but yeah, I do remember that.
Well, I'll tell it quickly.
Yeah.
Just all this area, Leminster, Wild Settlement, their income come from the forest. Like the forest was that was it. That's what you had.
That's right.
And right here on this farm, according to Ruth's book, and she was pretty thorough. It was all the Century Farms that existed in 1967 for 100 years. So there's Canada. That's old as Canada, right?
That's
kind of
right.
thing.
Yeah.
And this farm cut spruce logs with the handsaw, right? They took the crosscut saw and they cut them up. They cut them up into 16-inch lengths, and then they took the axe and they split them. Then they took the draw knife and they whittled them down in the shape of singles, and then they took and loaded them on an ox cart, took them to Windsor, and sold them in Windsor, and that was a primary income. Everybody had their sheep and everybody had their turnips and all that kind of stuff, but that was a big thing. So you're telling me there's still a shingle mill here, or there was one here?
There was one that I always heard tell of down on North Canoe Lake, just sort of where South Canoe flows into North Canoe. So yeah. And the other thing I remember Dad talking about were hemlock. Now we have some hemlock on the property down by the lake and sort of over west side, but a lot of the hemlock that was up through here was cut. And I always remember, I thought it went for wharves at that time, or wharves at that time.
Yeah.
Ships, those sorts, like shipbuilding, things.
Yeah.
And so just directly what you walk into, there's not a ton of hemlock because it hasn't really regenerated. I think it was really thinned out, but that was another product they took off
hemlock
the land.
In our area, because we don't have cedar here,
right.
Hemlock lasts longer than any other wood. Okay, it's our longest lasting wood. So on wharfs and stuff, hemlock would be the wood of choice. Also in Windsor, the fertilizer mill also had a tanning facility. And the hemlock, the juice from the bark, they would take hemlock and peel it, and they would take the juice, the bark in, and it would get ground up, and it would be used for tanning hides in that mill there in Windsor.
Okay.
So that was it. So Steve, we got to talk about you too here. So your family's out this way here as well.
Yeah, I have roots. My grandmother came from New Ross. She grew up out there. She was Limian, and grew up back Glengarry Road, back in that side.
Okay.
And then moved to Windsor when she was a young girl, and actually worked at Idshall as a housekeeper.
Really?
Yeah. So which I found interesting over time, and so back, and then but a Falmouth boy at heart. So
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about your dad as well.
Yeah.
So Ed Porter store. Me growing up. She's Ed Porter store, and that's your dad, right?
Yeah, Dad was the unofficial mayor of Falmouth.
Right on.
He watched over that corner. Down there throughout his time, and to his very end of his time, really. So long history in Falmouth, and Dad was he said he was born there and he was going to die there, and he came close to that. So
Your father was a man that always made every little guy feel like a big man. He's shaking hands and excellent. Just to
that store business was really Dad fit the community
for sure.
In that regard.
For sure.
So, but he's a good seller.
So Susan, we're going to go down and check out the church as well.
Okay.
Let's go down.
Sounds good.
We'll take a look at the church.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right.